I've heard you say multiple times you'd like it if Wilks would stop stunting. Can you go through with your coaching experience more in depth about what that means, pros and cons of stunting, slants, twists, all that stuff? What is the difference there? So all of this ties into Robert Bill Jr., in my opinion, Wayne. And I want you to jump in on this too. Right here. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm just showing you just a basic defensive alignment for a 4-3. And all I want to talk about is the defensive line, the front four.
Correct.
Nick Bosa had the comment a few weeks ago where it was like, man, we used to just be a rush 4 team, and that's what we were. Stunts started coming last year, and we've been doing it way too much this year. I don't like it. The traditional way to play front 4 defense, and it's easy just to look at what Nick Bosa does. If Nick Bosa lines up outside the tackle, he blitzes outside the tackle. Like, it's not a blitz. That's where he rushes. If he lines up outside the tight end, he rushes outside the tight end. Wherever you line up, that is your gap. You go through your gap. You beat your man head up. We've gotten away from that. And whenever you look at some of the things that we have been doing the most, they are called TE stunts, which means the tackle shoots up, the end takes a jab step, then loops around. This has not worked too well for us. Wayne, what are your thoughts just on this idea of always running stunts from a D-line perspective?
Well, I know you don't like it. I mean, the main reason why it's the personnel that we're using, right? And so, like, it's the pieces that we have. We don't have speed guys up there on the front. When you're running these stunts, and when we ran them even in the 3-4, I mean, Alden Smith was pretty damn fast, right? Like, Justin Smith was able to make his adjustment, do his job, and then Alden loops around. Same stunt, just a different front. But when we're trying to do it here to create some type of a trickery of pressure, it's slowing the damn rush down a little bit, right? And if the quarterbacks are getting the ball out of their hand a lot quicker than they normally will, it's not allowing the rush 4 to get home a lot. Therefore, the stunts aren't working. Doesn't matter how you stunt. It doesn't matter how you twist. It doesn't matter. So just rush the 4. Let them just run straight, gap in, whatever they got, crash in, crash. It doesn't matter. The stunts aren't working. Now, when you add Robert Bill to this equation, and Chase Young to the equation, not saying Chase Young is faster, but he's faster than Nick Bosa. And the reason Chase Young has done really well in his stunt game this year, matter of fact, 3 out of his 5 sacks came out of stunts. So if you add a speed rusher to this, oh my gosh, it can work.
It
can work. We have to see it properly executed, but it can work. And this is the theory from our defensive coordinator trying to manipulate the pressure a little bit differently without the blitz. We didn't even talk about the blitz yet. It's a whole nother
right. Yeah, this is just rush 4. 5 or more. This is just rush 4.
This is just rush 4. So that's a whole nother problem. But my point is, it can work. And I think maybe it was more execution than probably the actual design. So by design, it can work. I know it can work because I watch other teams do it all the time. But for some reason, our players aren't executing it properly.
Which is kind of the theme of the
they're
defense.
Not built to execute it. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Now, Chaz, I love this. He says, stunts have been great. They were great for Cousins and great for Burrow. Chaz always bringing the humor. I appreciate that, man. I mean, the issue is this. If stunts can work, I'm not trying to say all stunts are bad. Correct. The problem is when the opposing team's entire game plan is get the ball out quick. And now you're forcing Nick Bosa to take 2 to 3 lateral steps away from the quarterback. That's an issue. The pressures are happening.
His pass rush, right? And the crazy thing, John, he's still getting pressure, right? Yeah. He's just not sacking the quarterback because you've taken away from his rush.
Yeah,
it's going backwards first,
and that can be a problem. Now, the way that stunts work and are beneficial, if you have a mobile quarterback, it kind of makes it look like there's no pockets to scramble through. Messes up the screen game a little bit more. Lots of different reasons to stunt. But in the last 6 quarters, especially after Shanahan and Nick Bosa blasted Wilks publicly, Wilks went out there against the Bengals and said, cool, rush 4, Nick. Go ahead, buddy. And what happened? Nick Bosa got no sacks, and he was one-on-one most of the game. He got some chip blocks, whatever else. But they stopped double-teaming Nick Bosa for most pass plays the last 6 quarters, and Nick Bosa has been pressures there. Quarterback hits are there, just not finishing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, these are the things that I'm like, man, I really want to see more straight-up 4-man pressure. And another thing that Nick talked about is our slants, where you slant the defensive line, where basically you line up in one gap and everybody slants to the right or everybody slants to the left. The problem with this is another 50-50, because based on the offensive line's blocking technique, if they're all slanting the same way you're slanting, everybody just lost that rep. And so it's more opportunity for our pass rush to be not effective if they're doing a bootleg. If you guess the right way, it's huge. You guess the wrong way, it doesn't matter how good Nick Bosa is, he's going to be ineffective. These are the type of things that I want to eliminate or just do fewer of. Maybe Chase Young is going to be the difference. Maybe Robert Beal coming in could be the difference. But everybody, whether you're Steve Wilks, fan, supporter, hater, doesn't matter. Something has to improve with the pass rush. It just has
Absolutely. It starts with the pass rush on defense. I know everybody wants the DBs and the lockdown corners and everything. I guarantee you, the pass rush get home, none of that will matter in the secondary. It starts with the pass rush. And you can see it. I mean, I know everybody out here watches other NFL teams play. The pass rush, them sacks be helping. We talked about this at the very beginning when Nick was here. We were just, Nick Bosa came in. Sacks didn't matter. I bet you they matter now because it's just changing. It just makes it a lot more difficult for the defense to get off that football field. We're not even going to talk about 3rd and longs and all that type of stuff. We got to get to the quarterback to screw up the rhythm of the quarterback. That's all huge. That other stuff will happen.
Right. And Ed says, this is who we are. 4 guys rushing, ears pinned back, hair on fire. We got to get back to it. We did. We tried to. Last week against the Bengals. It didn't work.
It didn't work.
Didn't blitz. Didn't run very many stunts. We went 4-man pressure, and Burrow lit that defense up.
The quickest quarterback release, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
He was tearing it up. And then I know people watched the game because Burrow had at least 3 to 4 scrambles, right? Do you remember playing man coverage and everybody just being covered? And Burrow was just like, wide open, middle of the field.
The 49ers Rush Podcast.